another episode on the Virtual Shelling Network. I hope you're ready to get your shell on. We are on the west end of Sanibel, so we are on West Gulf Drive, and it is high tide right now, and the waves are pretty rocking. It looks like there could be a nice break line, but it's a little bit wavy. So I don't think the visibility is going to be very great. So we're going to check out this rack line here, kind of the fresh rack line. There's not a whole lot up here on, there's a little bit of remnants of a rack line up on the beach, and then kind of another one here, but we're going to kind of focus on what the high tide brought in. So you can see the high tide line here. So these are all fresh shells that are being washed up on the beach, and we're gonna check it out. Are you ready? Let's go. All right, so right off the bat, we've got a cute little scallop with barnacles. So you guys know how much I love these, but I wanted to show you that these barnacles are actually still alive, which is kind of unique and fun. Let me hold my camera so I can try to focus in here. So if you can see that they're not empty, they're the little creature, little barnacle creature is inside here. Same thing right here, and I'll try to get as close as I can for you guys to see it. So one thing I always try to do is, even if the seashell itself is no longer alive or empty, if it has hitchhikers on it, if it has slipper shells or Indian boats on it, if it's got barnacles on it, and the hitchhiker is alive, I don't take the shell. I'm not gonna take a shell, because technically this shell is alive, right? There's two barnacles on here that are alive. So this one we're gonna put back into the water and let it go and live. So when I say empty shells, that means that there's nothing else on there that is also alive or using that shell for a home. These little buttercups. Here's a pretty little rough scallop. Love that one. So we're gonna see what we have cooking here. And I know, I've said this before, a lot of people say come at low tide, and low tide's great because, this break line, you'll be able to see better, the waves will be a little bit more calm. It looks like there could be a sandbar out here. So, I tell people, when's the best time to go to the beach? Whenever you can. So we are at high tide right now, which is totally fine. We're gonna find a really pretty little whelk here. See what else we've got. Oh, we've got a really big wormy. Oh, look at the worm shell. Look how pretty. I know a lot of you are worm shell fans, so I've been trying to send out some worm shells in some beach treasure boxes. They're not a shell that we find often, but when I do find them, I do try to pick them up for you guys. Here's a pretty scallop, and then here, I just saw it as a little baby yellow cockle. I love those. I think they're so cute. Really pretty on the inside too. And here's another little whelk. Oh, and another little whelk. Two for right here. Two little whelks. Here's an apple murex. Nice size apple murex. Waves are coming in. And as they come in, they are pushing shells up and uncovering shells. So this is fantastic. And as I approach up here, I'm gonna see if you guys can see it. Woo, here it comes. That's why I like shelling sometimes at high tide, because you're gonna get really fun things like this. A really nice alphabet cone. It's got some holes in it, but I think that that's kind of cool. That is a really nice size alphabet cone. But that's just an example of, what the waves do during high tide. There's a lot of people that won't come shell at high tide, and I'm like, why not? If there's shells, there's shells. You just have to find them. Sure, low tide's fun if you're at Lighthouse because you can actually get out into the water a little bit. Or if the break line is really good, at low tide, usually that makes it easier to shell the break line. But right now, high tide is great. And certainly not having any problems finding some awesome shells here at high tide. Another nice, rinse it off, heart cockle that is intact. I love that. So just an another tip too, if you find shells that are intact together, coquinas, cockle shells, any type of bivalve, just know that when you're cleaning them, I always separate them and clean them separately, because if you bleach them, the bleach will eat away and disintegrate that hinge that keeps them together. So you want to make sure that you don't keep them in bleach too long, or don't bleach them at all if they're not really stinky and dirty, because then they'll come apart. And you can glue them back together, but if you want to keep them naturally intact, that is the best way to do it, is just make sure that you're not bleaching. I know everybody likes to bleach everything, but sea life, any type of tissue, it eats away at that. So you want to just be careful that you're not, you know, bleaching something and wanting to keep it together, and then you lose all your pairs, because it's really hard to put them back together if you have a bunch of them to try to match them up again. Here's a cute little under here, a little jewelry box. And this one is an example of one that's really pretty on top and not so colorful underneath, but they're all different. That's why we love shells. They're all so unique and different. You can have 25 olives and none of them are exactly the same, or you'd have 100 whelks and none of them are exactly the same. Love the cockles. I mean, the colors on these are just so gorgeous. So beautiful. Here we've got a barnacle cluster. So I love barnacle clusters, but if you can see, these are all empty. So this one's totally fine to take because there's not anybody home. But if these were not completely empty and there were barnacles living in there, then I would put it back. So I just want to make myself clear that, you know, when I say only take empty shells, you have to consider anything else living on that shell. Here is a little sea cucumber. It's a little guy. So they're kind of squishy, but then they tense up when you pick them up, like a cucumber. So now he's like really hard, like a cucumber. But they're a little sea creature and they're super fun. So we'll roll him back into the water so he can not dry out. Here is a jewelry box. Look how pretty this one is. This one is pretty on both sides. You've got the beautiful white and the peach, and then you flip it over and you've got the purple. That is a beautiful, beautiful specimen right there. And here's a little tiny sea urchin. Oh, it's a long spine sea urchin. Okay, so no longer alive, and you know that. Why? Because he doesn't have any spines. Well, some of the spines are still on there. And then there's the little mouth right there. So this little guy is not alive. And again, if you're gonna take these home, you just have to remember to clean them out because they do get really, really stinky. So look how cute. Shark eye. Let's see what else we've got going on. Here's double cockle, which is fun. I love finding the bivalves that are still intact. Those are always fun. And then here's a heart cockle here. A little broken, but look at the color on that. Absolutely gorgeous. And over here we've got a really pretty buttercup. I just love buttercups. I pick up buttercups all the time. They are one of my favorite shells to find. And of course the scallops. I can't pick up enough pretty scallops. Love them. And I'm kind of crouching down because if you don't crouch down, that's when you miss things. Here's a little scallop, but he's got a creature in there. I don't know if he's alive. So usually if they're alive, they'll close right away. This guy is not alive. He's not closing at all. And you can see on the one side, it's kind of plain Jane. I mean, I still think it's really pretty, but it's more white. And then you've got the colorful side. So that's usually how scallops are. Sometimes you'll find them where both sides are really colorful, but typically with calico scallops, one side's gonna be more white and the other side is gonna be more colorful. Oh, another worm shell! Oh my gosh, you guys, and this one's so cool! Look at that one, wow! That is an awesome wormy right there. We do not find worm shells very often, you guys know that. If you've been watching my virtual shelling videos, you know that I get very excited when I find worm shells because you don't find them commonly on Sanibel. Look at this one, this is so pretty. We've gosh. And here's a little operculum right here. So this is a little trap door to a little conch or whelk, or maybe a horse conch. Super cute. So we'll put him in there too. See what else we can find. Here's a really pretty slipper shell. Sometimes the slipper shells, as common as they are, sometimes they really catch my eye, and they'll have a really cool pattern to them, or a really cool color. That one's really pretty. Here's a really nice scallop. Look at that one. So we'll get off that little creature. Needs to make sure he's not alive anymore though. Let's see if I can get him open. Nope, no longer alive. You guys can see. I always like to check to make sure before I take somebody's home and take them with them. Ooh, I almost lost a finger. Did you see that? He's alive. See his little eyeballs? You gotta be careful because sometimes if they're alive, woo, you gotta be really careful. I will never stick my, oh, see that? You see that? That is why, okay? You do not stick your finger in there. They can clamp down on your finger and not let go. So I want you guys to be able to see all of his eyeballs. You guys see all of those? Oh my gosh, hold on. Let's see if I can focus in. There we go. Isn't that cool? All right, so we're gonna roll him back in the water so he can, here's a little buttercup, so he can live. So funny. That's why you never, you guys, I'm telling you, like, especially like with the larger scallops, giant heart cockles, like if you want to know if they're alive, like put something else in there, like put like a little stick or a little, you know, whatever, but don't put your finger in there. That is not the way you want to find out if they're alive. I've told this story before, but when I was young, I think I was like maybe like 5 or 7 or something like that, and I was so excited to find a live scallop, and I ran over to my mother and I said, look, you can even see its eyes, and I stuck my finger right in there to show her, and that sucker closed on my finger, and I was crying. It hurt so bad. They couldn't get it off. There were people on the beach that were trying to like help them get this scallop off my finger. Oh my gosh. So trust me when I say, like, I learned my lesson a long time ago. Be very careful with those scallops when they're alive. They tease you. They act like they're dead. Look at my cute eyeballs, and then boom, her finger is stuck. Look how pretty this orange one is. I love orange scallops. Here's a conch. Fun conch. Here's another pink scallop. Really pretty pink scallop. I love how they have different patterns, different shades, color. Oh yes, bring me more shells. Bring me more shells. Here's a piece of a horse conch. So the horse conchs are here. We just have to find them. Here's a pretty piece of a scallop. Oh, is this a little sea tree? A little sea tree on an arc there. That's kind of fun. I always like to find little sea trees. I think they're so fun and cute to craft with. Little display for your shell bowl. See what else you can find. There's another urchin. Lots of live scallops here, so I won't be sticking my finger in any of them. Oh, here's another pretty scallop right here. And another one here. And we've got a cute little whelk right here. Oh my gosh, we've got a little hole in it. It's okay. Another one here. Oh, and look at this, you guys. There's a little paper fig. It's got a little chip out of it, but it's so cute. And then we've got a scallop, but So this one is another example of one that is colorful on both sides. So you can see one side is lighter orange, and then you flip it over and you've got the dark orange. But this little guy is very alive. He is clammed in there. No pun intended. So we're gonna roll him back into the water so he doesn't get stuck out here. Let's see what else we can find. So many fun things. Here's another little scallop with a barnacle. So empty barnacle. Got a little, really pretty little whelk there. Look at this coquina. Look how pretty this coquina is with the stripes color. So pretty. I love finding coquinas. Here's another slipper shell right here that's really cool looking. Little Indian boat, aka slipper shell. Here's a little crab claw. Kind of cool looking. It feels empty. I don't think there's anything in there. You always want to make sure they're empty so they're not super sticky, but that'll be really cool in the shell bowl. Like sitting on top as a little fun beach treasure. And oh, we got a sea whip. I love them. We hardly ever find sea whips on Sanibel. Look how pretty. This is a really dark one. It's really cloudy and the sun is going down, so I can't really tell if it's like bright purple, but it's really pretty. So we'll be putting that in our shell bag for sure. Here's another little coquina. Pretty little orange one. Okay guys, so here you can see that the waves are starting to bring in, you can see like the shell shelf here. There's so many shells there. So if it was a lower tide or calmer water, either one, it would be a great place to go and shell, because I guarantee you there's like so many amazing shells right there in the breakwater. You guys can see them all rolling. But they're bringing some shells in here, and this is a great place to check it out and see what the tide brought in. Got some scallops, always looking for scallops. Heart cockle here, I love that. It's a really dark, pretty one. Oh, here's another really pretty scallop here. There's a little coquina. Pretty little butterfly coquina. Purple one. Oh my gosh, so pretty. I love those. Some days I come out just to look for coquinas because I put my mind to it, and then I can find a bunch and I can bring a little, either a mini shell bag or a container for them. Woo, yes, bring me shells. Bring some shells in, uncover some shells. It's really fun. Here's another little barnacle on top of the scallop. Awesome! Here's another little pretty sunburst scallop with the orange. It's really awesome. Let's see what you guys see here. Here comes some waves. That's a big one. Really dark one here, it's broken, but look at that nice dark scallop. That's so cool. You guys can see like this little area, and then there's a little break, and then there's more shells. Let's see if we find anything here. It's getting pretty dark. Ooh, speaking of dark, look at that one. That is so pretty. Like a wine-colored coquina. There's a little conch here. giant heart cockle next to a little baby. So fun. Woo! Comes some waves. Waves are a good thing for shells. Just remember that. They uncover shells, they bring shells in. Waves are not good if you're wanting to shell the break line, but they're awesome for bringing in some shells. We love waves. Look at this break quahog that is blue. So pretty. I love the blue ones. A little pretty scallop. And then hiding right here looks like a really pretty little coquina. Oh, look how pretty. Wow, that's beautiful. Little chip on it, but that is so pretty. And up here, you can see, so we're kind of right here in the super fresh rack line, and then there's this one that came in with the high tide. And then up here was the old rack line. So this is another great place to shell. You can actually see there's one really high up here. And then there's this one here. So this is another great place to shell. And this is another great place to look for beach treasures. Here is a crushed, it looks like somebody stepped on it, crab shell. But if you look at the barnacles, you'll see that they were occupied. Now they're no longer alive. Obviously this crab has been here probably a long time, but if you can see, that's what they look like. They kind of look like teeth, don't they? They have like teeth in there. So that's what your barnacles look like when they still are occupied. But usually we're used to seeing them after they're vacated, so they're just empty holes. So let's just see real quick before we go if we have anything fun up here in the high rack line. I love high rack lines. This big crab claw right here. You know, crab claws are always fun to put in like a shell bowl display. They're always neat sea creature type treasures. Here's a calico clam right here. And then here's a really pretty rough scallop, but it's broken. But you know, I always tell people, like if you were, you know, doing like a shell mirror, I mean, you just put it like that, and then you're good. You know, you can take a shell and just hide it among another shell. Or like here, you can go like this, grab this scallop here, like that, and then you'll like never know that it's broken. So that's always a little trick there. Just because the shell is chipped or broken, certainly doesn't mean that it's not still a treasure. And I love pieces of shells. I mean, I usually, you know, there's certain shells like alphabet cones and true tulips, and sometimes horse conchs that are just so pretty, the pieces, that I'll keep the pieces as accents for my bowl or to fill in if I'm doing a picture frame or a shell mirror. So those are always kind of fun uses for those shells, even if you don't find them whole. Let's see if we've got anything good cooking up here. Here's another little piece of a crab claw. And sometimes we'll find driftwood too. I'm not really seeing a lot of driftwood here, but sometimes in this high rack line after a storm, there'll be some fun driftwood pieces that you guys have seen in past episodes. So those are always really fun. I just want to show you guys a quick view of the sunset before we go. The sun is down, and that is just the afterglow there. And got some pelicans flying. It is just so gorgeous here on Sanibel. Beautiful afterglow of the sunset. we are losing our light quickly, but oh my gosh, you guys, I just came down here and look what I found. Look at this. Whoa, this is a little core of a Junonia. This is so fun. Look how cool. Yay! Listen, anytime you find a piece of a Junonia, it's awesome. I don't care if it's beat up Junonia, if it's a chunk, if it's a core, that is something to celebrate. I just wanted to look in this little area real quick. The sun is down and it's dark out. We are out of turtle season, so we are able to use a flashlight. If you have a flashlight, you're allowed to bring it to the beach to shell, which is always fun, nighttime shelling. Here's a nice whelk right here. Let's see what else we can find. I find sometimes at nighttime, I can, sometimes I see more because you can only look in like the little area that your light is, so you're not so distracted with everything else, and you're just looking in that certain area for shells. So here's a little buttercup, and here's a little conch, this cute little conch right here. So cute. Here's a pretty scallop. Lots of fun shells. Here's another conch right here. And a lot of these shells would be shells that I would miss if it was like light out, but because I have to look right where my light is, I'm gonna find all the other little cute little whelk, all the other shells. See what we got up here. Have to do a couple nighttime shelling videos for you guys now that we're out of turtle season, so you guys will be able to see what it's like to do nighttime shelling, which is really fun. A pretty scallop. Here's a little, is this a piece of a paper fig? Yeah, a piece of a paper fig. I would have never seen that Junonia core had I not had my light and bent down. I just wouldn't have seen it. In fact, I probably walked over it coming out here. That's why sometimes you gotta get down and you gotta get low and you gotta check out all the things, right? There's another really little scallop right here. One. And you can't always see the color as well when it's dark, but in the light, it'll be how pretty buttercup. See what else we can find. There's fun stuff here, I'm telling you. There's always shells to be found. Here's a little murex. Kind of looks like it's hanging on. No, it's not. Oh, it is. So this guy's alive. Do you see him hanging on to the shell? He is hanging on. So he is very much alive. So we're gonna just put him right there so he can go back into the water. It's always fun to see live shells. He's a really pretty scallop, oh my gosh. Big and beautiful, gorgeous. And let's come up here a little bit to this little shell pile / shelf. Here's another pretty scallop, I love them. Here's a seraph too, right here. It's fun to find. See anything else fun? These little slipper shell, love them. Indian boats. And it's such a pleasure to be out here shelling when the bugs aren't bad, let me just tell you. Because sometimes they're bad. There's a breeze tonight, thankfully, so I think it's keeping them away. But it's so nice to not have to be eaten up and stay. You can stay till after sunset. Because sometimes the sun goes down, man, they come out in full force. And it's not even like tolerable. Some of you know exactly what I mean. These are little buttercup, I love them. Oops. Well, you guys will have to tell me on your end if the visibility is good for nighttime shelling, if you're able to see what I'm looking at clearly. There's another barnacle cluster on top of a scallop. That is a scallop. So you'll have to let me know, and if so, I'll do some more night shelling videos, but I want to make sure that you guys can see. So be sure to comment below and let me know if you're able to have decent visibility. I'll see if I can do some editing to the video too, to lighten it up a little bit for you guys to see. But at the same time, part of virtual shelling is virtual shelling, right? You see what I see. So if the visibility isn't great, sometimes that's how it is. That's the way it would be when you know, if you were here with me in person shelling. So it gives you a little taste of what it's like to actually shell at night. It is a little bit of a challenge, but it is fun. You get to find fun little scallops and fun little shells. So I'll show you guys what the beach looks like. It's very dark. The sun has gone down, so it's just a little bit of an afterglow effect. Otherwise, it is pretty dark. You can see right here, there's a really pretty little afterglow behind the clouds. But let me know what you guys think of night shelling, and I'll try to do some more night shelling videos for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode on the Virtual Shelling Network. Lots of fun goodies, lots of fun shells. And I thank you guys so much for your support and for being members. If you have any questions, feedback, comments, I love to hear it. Please send me a message, or you can email me directly at virtualshelling@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys again next time. Bye!